Hello, Cooking with James is here once again, and today I'm going to make a moussaka. And some good news here is I've got a new case for my phone, and it allows the phone to stand up. So I can now film everything without having to hold the phone at the same time. So the first thing I'm going to do here is to peel and chop potatoes, which will hopefully be a lot quicker and more pain-free than it was the first time I tried it with sausage casserole. My dad did actually buy me a stand for the phone as well, which I think it does work. I just haven't been able to actually get it to work properly so far. You have to like hold something up, and in fact I'll show you it now actually. I've got it here. So the trick I believe is to slide this bit up here and slot the phone in. Unfortunately, it's quite difficult to actually hold the phone, slide up, and put the phone at the same time. So I think there's nothing wrong with it itself, just haven't been able to work it. But this phone now is a stand, so I can place the phone just as it is there, and then I can film myself doing things hands-free. Okay, so peeling potato number one. That is one potato successfully peeled. Potatoes, and I'm going to aim to chop it sort of into little thin slices, which may not work out very well, but as thin as I can. Like that. Oh, that was a little bit short, but never mind. Aim to get them as fat as possible, so it's not quite working. But not too bad either. But the good element of it is that they are not taking an age to cut this time. So due to the fact I've got a better knife, here we are. And then this little bit here, I believe you have to sort of slice it. Well, I would slice it like this because it's harder to sort of get it the other way. So little sort of half moon little shapes. Like so. Potatoes done sliced, so that's the first bit of the preparations. And now to slice some onion next up. Okay, these onions, because they're frozen, I'm just giving them a bit of heat for a couple of minutes in the frying pan, just sort of soften them up a bit before I put them in with the potatoes. So here they are, just getting a bit of a stir, and they'll be done, I'd say, about 2 minutes or so. I just need, effectively, just a bit of a preheat, really, if anything. Okay, just going to let that now cool down for a little bit, and then I'll add it in with the potatoes, mix it together with some oil, salt and pepper, pop in the oven for 20 minutes. Okay, so we have the bowl here of potatoes and onions. So what I'm going to do now is just add some salt in, get the salt. Bit of pepper and a bit of oil, like so. Touch of oil there. I'm going to sort of mix them all together slightly. Give it a bit of a mix. It's going to be a bit messy here, but never mind. Give it a bit of a mixing together. They're all going to fall out. That's not going to quite work. So what I'm going to do here is just quickly wash my hands. I'm going to layer the veg onto my little casserole dish thingy. So, just layer it nicely. And once we've done that, I can just pop it into the oven for 20 minutes apparently. Now, while that's just cooking for about 20 minutes, I need to slice up this aubergine. Now, I have never ever sliced an aubergine before, so I don't know how this is going to go. I've been told it's quite easy. I believe the first thing you do is to take off the top of it, like so, and then I believe it's a simple slicing job. So let's see how we get on with this. Let's just find out. So, slice, so that's not too bad. Apparently needs to be thin slices. Oh, this is alright. That is easy. Wow. This is quite fun actually. Wow. Okay, so just pull that off though. Yep, there we are. That's cool. It's nice and really thin as well, can't you? Wow! It's really good fun. And it's down there. And then down here, there's a message, I believe. Small slicing. More slicing. Wow, so easy. I thought this would be quite hard, to be honest with you, but no, it's just like slicing through anything really. Oh, that's just chopped off a little bit, never mind. First little blip, but that's cool. Slice that. Oh, too small there. Never mind. Like so. Quite big, they're quite big aubergines, aren't they? Still a little while of it to go. Wow. That goes there. Oh, it slipped a bit there. And that bit there. And like this. Like this. And that's the aubergine sliced. So here are the sliced aubergines, and again I'm going to just sprinkle these now with some pepper and some salt and a little bit of almost out of all that. Actually, I need to buy some more in my next shop, I would say, probably. Just this, of course, isn't essential, so just with some oil as well, and that's going to be nice and oily, and it will go in the oven in about a few minutes' time now. Okay, so it's now time to remove the potatoes and onions from the oven. Now is I add the aubergines to the layer of potatoes, like so. Add in said aubergines, and once that's done, I will cook for another 20 minutes. And while that's cooking, I can hang up my clothes that are still in the washing machine currently and need to be really removed from there now to hang up. And I might just add a little bit more oil to the mix. There we are so far with the mixture. Maybe a little bit more oil to the aubergines just to soften up a little bit more. A little bit more oil there. So if I now grab the thingy back, and then actually very careful here. If I drop this, it'll be a disaster. Pop that back in, and there we go for part 2. Just currently heating up some mushrooms at the moment, giving them a bit of a soften. They're going to go in as a third layer basically. Okay, so it's now time to remove the onions from the mushrooms. The onions, aubergines, potatoes. Sorry, from the oven temporarily, and add in the mushrooms to the mix. Not really a lot of mushrooms, to be honest with you, in all honesty, but that's okay. Grab it again and put it back into the oven. I open the door first, and then like it goes in there, like that. There. Okay, so it's time again to remove the vegetables from the oven, and then I can let them rest for a bit after that, because I'm then going to do the mint layer and start making that. So here we are with the mince, and that is out, and that is that layer done. Now, according to the next set of instructions, you're supposed to cook the spices a little bit first before adding them in. So I've got here some cinnamon, which I add half a teaspoon of. Let's grab a little spoon here if I can find one. That'll do. So a small amount of cinnamon to go in. That'll do, definitely do that one. And then a pinch of cloves. And then get that all up together. And if you bring, there we are. So we'll cook that for a couple of minutes and then add in the meat. Okay, as the recipe's told me, I've added in some tomato paste. And then add in the meat and cook that as well. So here we have the meat. We're going to just pop into the sauce now, and that should take around about 10 minutes or so to cook. And then once that's done, I'm going to add in some passata and also a little bit of red wine. Right, so that's going to take about 10 minutes to cook itself, and if I break it all up like this, it should start then to cook itself a little bit well in a few minutes time. Once it's brown, I'll add on the tomatoes and stuff. Okay, the mince is pretty much done, so I've got some passata here and also a little bit of wine there in a little glass, which I'm going to add into the mixture now. Here is the passata. Making sure it doesn't explode over anything. No, that should be just about. Oh, careful there. It's a bit spray there, isn't it? So a bit of passata, and then the wine to add a bit of flavour. I'll stir the passata a bit first, actually, I think. Yeah, I'll stir the passata in first, like so. And then, once that's done, I shall add in wine. What's this? Hopefully a glass of wine. Add some flavour. And the rest of this will be for James at some point later on. Okay, we can see the sauce bubbling over quite nicely now. I'm aware of the mess here, so that's going to be cleaned up, of course, once that stopped cooking and the hob is a little bit less boiling hot. So what I'm doing now is heating up this pan here, in which I'm going to cook the bechamel sauce, which is the biggest challenge of this recipe, of course. Okay, weighed out the butter there, so that's 101 grams, so just about right. So I think that's the butter now melted and hopefully not burnt. So now I'm going to add in the flour, which is measured out 100 grams. So in it goes. And what I do now is I whisk it a little bit with this little whisk. So whisk it all together. Whisk it all together like so. So it's nicely all whisked in. Once that's done, it's time to add the milk. Now, apparently the trick with the milk is add it in small batches rather than put it all in one go, because it helps with the dissolving it in or something. So add the first batch in now, just a little bit. There. And then you allow the to all dissolve itself in together and not eat any lumps. And then I'll carry on stirring in a bit, because I'll really need 2 hands for this, to be honest with you. Okay, here's the mixture now. Just going to keep whisking a bit. There's not really any lumps anymore, so I think I'm going to now wait for it to just bubble over a little bit. then it should be done. There's a bit of a sauce crisis here because the sauce is a little bit too, thin. I think the flour is effectively dissolved into the milk. I might have added the milk a bit too fast, even by doing it in batches, I think. So I'm not sure how this is going to pan out, but I'm just leaving the milk to the mix to heat up a bit now. Okay, it's getting a little bit better now, a little bit thicker, and the milk is starting to finally bubble over a little bit as well, which is a good sign. So I'll keep whisking it, like so. I've now added some pepper, nutmeg, and a bit of parmesan to the mix, which I'm still whisking away. I've turned the heat off for now, so it's nice and warm, so it's going to sort of carry on and thicken up a little bit more. Like so. A bit more of a whisk, so it all gets bulbed in like that. So here's the meat, the mince now added onto the pile there, and then I guess we add the rest of the sauce, which is the big challenge. And just layer it all over the top, and a little layer. Like that, and then I guess we spread it all over. Spread it. Oh, make sure it doesn't spill. Yeah, don't spill too much of the sauce because that's going to make a mess on my kitchen. It's going to leave more cleaning up for me. Okay, it's not terrible, but I could probably do better after some practice. It's all coming down and out now. I'll say that's unfortunate because I'm probably going to get it at the moment, so that's going to go into the oven now. Bit of a mess, but it's not too bad. It's going to taste okay, I'm sure. Okay, so here's the exciting moment where I take the moussaka out of the oven, and we find out how it's looking and what disaster may have happened to it. Right, let's grab it from here, like that, and then, okay, so there's the moussaka there. Okay, it's not too bad, not terrible. Okay, so that's that. And then we have to leave for about 10 minutes to set, apparently. It says an hour. I've got no time. I've got Christmas drinks at about 6 o'clock, so I need to eat this quite fast, really, and I've got to set off.